In this setup are living by far the most popular animals on this channel. I would like to show them more often. The problem is by day they are very shy. You only see them during feeding. So I don't get a lot of opportunities to actually make some good footage of these incredible lizards. Today I want to do two things. Feed them and actually check the water parameters of these setups so I can share those with you. This one has been hanging on the land area for a while now, but I'm gonna put it in the water so I know for sure it's actually feeding. There you go. Let's start with a few quick updates on what's been going on in this room. My lovely Borneo are doing well. There's a lot to tell about this pair, the pair that was assumed illegal. A lot has happened, but I think that needs a separate video. Been making some minor changes. I added this black strip to this setup to make it a little bit more clean. There's some shelving done in the racks. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of plants. I really like all these plants in the room. Makes it a whole lot lively, but it does take up a lot of walking area, and I'm afraid I damaged the plants. So I'm figuring out a way how to have all the plants in here without having them being damaged or being in the way too much. Recently got this beautiful Melanogrisum that's doing well. Lost this room, made my own moss poles, and this little queen on Terrarium. This one is gonna be huge hopefully, but I gotta find place for them to be in this room, because I definitely want to have more plants. Maybe a good excuse to have a big setup with a whole bunch of new world plants, but in these days you gotta think that through properly. I have also added some bamboo poles to these setups, thinking I might put day geckos in there, but I'm not sure that. At least this setup has been empty for a year. I almost feel like redoing them with all the plants, because it doesn't look the way I would like them to look. Doesn't look bad, just doesn't look great. I've also set up this small IKEA rack to raise the baby turtles individually. This is one of the young Cecalia living in there. So those are all being raised in here individually. I'm gonna feed them their favorite night crawlers. It's been about 3 days ago that I already fed them too. So let's see how they respond. Just gonna throw 1 or 2 in the water first to get them active. Let's see what's going on. Time to do some actual water tests. I got a hardness meter, general hardness test. I got a nitrate test to check that out, also because of the cyano. I got a TDS meter. And I have my pH meter, my electronic pH meter. These we're going to use to test the water, and I'm going to test my tap water, my RO water, and the actual water that's in the setup. So the pH that Lanthanotus is found in is around pH 7. 6.4 for the osmosis water, the RO water. Tap water about 7.6 as I expected. 7.2, so that's not too far off of their natural range. A little bit higher as I want to, but that's to be expected as I did a recent water change. I also got this TDS meter just out of curiosity, so let's check what that one says about my RO water. That went fast, actually pretty low TDS, 7. I bought this one at the local fish store, it was only 10 euros. Whoa, look at that, 205 TDS. That's why I can't use this tap water for a lot of my carnivorous plants. Still pretty high. As you can see, 196. So I do wonder what the hardness is. So these are my results. As you see on the top, the TDS we already know. On the RO water very low, and the tap water and the Terrarium water is actually pretty similar. The pH of my RO water was about 6.4 I believe. the tap water 7.6 and the water of the Lanthanotus terrarium was 7.2. So a little bit lower as my tap water, but not exactly as their natural range. The hardness of the RO water was pretty much non-existent, so pretty much all the minerals are taken out. That's great. I know my filters, at least on that part, still work. The hardness of my tap water was pretty high, and the hardness of my terrarium water is a bit lower, but I would rather have it about 4. So that one I also want to reduce. And as you can see, no nitrates of course in the RO and tap water, but I measured about 40 to 50 milligrams of nitrates in the terrarium water, and that means that the nitrogen cycle in this terrarium is working perfectly. So waste is broken down and turned into nitrates eventually. Nitrates you can see is sort of an end product, and that one is 40 to 50. Now I would have it a little bit lower, but this certainly is not bad. So what I want to do is get my pH to 7, my hardness to 4, and my nitrates a little bit lower. The higher nitrate count is super easy to reduce. I could do either a water change or have something in the water that absorbs the nitrates, like a lot of plants. In this case I'm gonna do a water change and add some plants, at least the roots of plants. But the main reason I wanted to make this video and do these water tests is because I often get questions about Lanthanotus via Instagram, and I'm always happy to help you in case I can. And often those questions revolve around white markings on the nostrils, the eyes, and eventually the face or head of the Lanthanotus. Could be a fungus, but it seems that often the hardness of your water, the mineral count, has a major effect. And what a lot of people do, and also I sometimes do, is that I don't do a lot of water changes for my Lanthanotus, and instead of that I just add water when my water evaporates. The problem is, if we use our tap water, we can actually add more and more minerals, causing this issue. Now what happens is the water in my terrarium of course evaporates. Now you see these pieces of gravel, those represent all the dissolved minerals and other dissolvents in my water. Now what happens is, if your water evaporates, those minerals actually stay in your water. Those minerals don't evaporate. And if you then just replenish your water with normal tap water, is that not only are you adding minerals from your tap water, you already have that consistent amount of minerals in your setup. And if you keep doing this without knowing it, you are actually raising the amount of minerals in your water, so the hardness will rise. And we don't want that to happen, because now we know that we want our hardness down. Around 4 would be perfect. Not too much calcium and magnesium in your water, and we also want to prevent that the pH keeps going up. So what we got to do is actually do a water change and take out some of those minerals, and then use the osmosis water to add to our terrarium water. This way we have taken out a bunch of the minerals, making sure that our hardness goes down, and by adding the RO water instead of our tap water, we can prevent that we actually add minerals again, and that way our hardness and our pH stays at the right level. And this is what you want to check and take in account when you see all those white marks around the heads of your Lanthanotus. It can be fungus, but thus far what I've noticed is that as soon as I see those white markings around their eyes, their nostrils, and eventually their head, that there's too much calcium, too much magnesium, as soon as the water evaporates around their nose, you will get those deposits. So by checking this, you can make sure that you prevent any of these issues.